Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So let's talk about the just announced C server shutdown in Nier Reincarnation and the implications for the global and JP versions. But first I want to repeat the shutdown prediction I made all the way back at the end of 2021. Global and JP will shut down at the same time, and that will be when the story is concluded. I still believe that and expect that, and in all my talk about shutdowns, it's still my most important point regarding this game. I look at the various threads on Reddit about the C shutdown, and there are a bunch of people worried Global will shut down before JP. It's of course possible, but I don't think it will happen, and that's the number one thing I want to get out there right away. The developers made the effort to catch up the versions to each other, and they are very aware of how popular Nier is overseas. I will link to that late 2021 video below, not that you have to watch it since I just said the most important point again here, but just as proof that I have long believed this. There is actually a silver lining to the C shutdown. Not to the C players, unfortunately, but the fact that they would shut it down after Girl Monster, but before Sun Moon, reinforces my belief that the developers are about the story above all else, and so it reinforces my belief that they would shut down the game only after satisfactorily concluding the story. In Global, we lost English voices in new story content, and we enter the period between Sun Moon and People World, and I was worried for Global. I was like, are the developers going to disappoint me, betray my belief in them? But we got it, and I breathed a big sigh of relief, so yeah, I am confident in my belief Global and JP will shut down at the same time. I was also long of the belief that Nier Reincarnation was acting as kind of PR for the Nier brand. This is part of the reason why, for example, Final Fantasy mobile games exist. They are to bridge that time between big, numbered releases, keep the name in the front of gamers' minds. And so C getting the complete Girl Monster storyline could very possibly be Nier PR for the C region, and the company felt the C region was important enough to give it to them. I really didn't put any thought into predicting the lifespan of C, but seeing it play out like this, it makes sense in retrospect. I feel bad for C players for not getting more, especially those of you that put money into the game, and I hope you're not too angry with me for phrasing it this way, but Nier Reincarnation, as it was presented to the C players, was a gift of that story. Better than not getting the game at all, I feel. And for the record, I think the game overall is a gift to all players that have access to it. It is pretty clearly not trying to turn a profit. Global is lucky to get it, much less all the way through People World. I've said this before. I've also long thought this next idea, but I feel like Sun Moon was bonus content that we only got because of the very strong opening months of the JP version, and that the really important core of the overall story is Girl Monster. It'll be interesting to look back when this is all over and see if it could have worked without Sun Moon. So yeah, I think C still got the most important core part. The shutdown of C, I don't think it has any real implications for Global or JP, but seeing how they handle the shutdown process could give us a preview of how they will handle it for us. In my shutdown series of videos, I talked about different ways games shut down, and whether they announce it ahead of time or not, and then what that looks like the last little bit of time. With C here, they did announce it ahead of time, which I predicted because, again, the game being a PR thing and being story-centric, giving people time to see all the main story before the game closes is very important. I said I was hoping for 2 months, C gets 1 month, but they only have Girl Monster, so that should be enough for most people. I also talked about games either showering users with rewards and events leading up to shutdown, or trickling down to nothing, and unfortunately it looks like C is trickling down to nothing. From what I hear, their banners are simply turned off, and they haven't gotten new events. I also said I was hoping they'd give out a ton of Lavender Cubes so that we can see as many Dark Memory stories as possible, but they haven't done that in C, which is disappointing. Not necessary, but really fun and insightful. Hopefully they give those out during the last month. To end, I was planning on talking about this in my People World spoiler full video, but might as well go into it here, it is relevant. Because the game is so story focused, and because it is part of the Nier universe, It can't go forever, and it can definitely overstay its welcome. It kind of has to end. A lot of Nier fans picked up their first ever mobile game in Reincarnation for Nier-related lore, and 2-3 years of waiting is a lot to ask of people. You tease and tease and tease and never give people what they came for, and they might leave before they get it, and that would be a shame. That's part of why we are seeing the ramp-up of Nier-related stuff, like the EX stories of Hina Yuzuki and Yorha in the new story trailer, and then finally starting the plot of the game, which is to get to the truth about the cage. We are finally getting the payoff for the first 2 years of setup. And once we get the truth of the cage, that's it, isn't it? That's the end of the plot of Nier Reincarnation. And that is what they teased in the first People World trailer, so that is what is informing my Shutdown prediction percentages. But, and again, I feel like I'm just repeating myself all video, but in the Shutdown series, I floated the idea of Reincarnation being a PR lead-up to the next console game, and like if the final images we see before Shutdown are a trailer for the new Nier game, that would blow people's socks off. That would be a legendary moment in gaming history. So yeah, that's what comes to mind when I hear about the news of the shutdown of the C server. Probably not going to have an effect on Global and JP, but it can maybe inform us about what is likely to happen. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you are a C player, and if you're going to play to the end. I would be appreciative of updates about, what they're doing leading up to the end of the game. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.